I bought this guy right here, the Pixel 5 5G from Verizon Wireless. I bought it on Thanksgiving Day online, and I got this phone for free. Hey everyone, Steve here from Big Head Tech, and you would think I would have the latest and greatest technology when it comes to phones. And the truth is I do and I don't. I mean, I bought the Pixel 3 when it came out around Black Friday in 2018. I didn't get the Pixel 4. I mean, I was doing a lot of things in my life at that point, but I just didn't. And I've been running the Pixel 3 ever since. So when I used to work for Verizon, sure, I kept up on the latest and greatest. But to be honest, my wife's really the power user. I use my phone for Reddit, Facebook, taking photos for thumbnails and my dog and fashion, and that's pretty much about it. I really want good battery life, and I can never seem to get that. So then you're scratching your head and you're saying, okay, so a free phone, he must have like somehow scammed somebody out of the Pixel 3. And no. So let me explain. That's not clickbait. It's actually true. The phone is $699, which is, that's kind of Google's shift that they're making away from previously. They were trying to compete with Samsung and Apple with making flagship phones. I think starting pretty much with the Pixel 2. I think that was their the Pixel 1 wasn't really much less expensive than the counterparts. I mean, it's been a while since I've had a Pixel. I guess it'd be 5 years when I got the Pixel 1. I had the Pixel 1, I had the Pixel 2 XL, the Pixel 3, and now the Pixel 5. But I think what Google realized was that they're not taking a lot of market share from Samsung and Apple, but they have a really good following on their product. So they said, let's take a step back from the hardware focus. Let's focus on what we're really good at, and that's software. So they were able to bring the cost all the way down to $699. Now, on Thanksgiving, Verizon announced at 4 a.m. that they were having a big sale that was $300 off if you're on qualifying unlimited plans, which I was. I just shifted previously. Since my wife's in the military, they have some pretty good deals with that. And it turns out that the original unlimited data plan from like 2017, 2018, when they brought it back right before I departed Verizon, was finally beaten by a newer plan. So we jumped on that. So now the phone's $399, and I have a Pixel 3 right here. And needless to say, going back all the way to the Pixel 2, Verizon gives you $400. They'll either give that to you straight up, or they'll give it back to you in bill credits. Now, I did the bill credits because I'm just trying to get my bill down. So essentially, I am actually going to be paying $0.00 a month for 24 months. I am obligated to keep Verizon service, or I'll owe the balance at any point. And I did have to pay taxes and fees amounting to probably somewhere in the ballpark of, I'm doing this really quick math, about $65, okay? So that's the full disclosure, but I did indeed actually more or less get this phone for free. So what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna open it up and we're gonna take a look at the phone. We're gonna talk a little bit about what they've done, how they've made it less expensive. And to be honest, they basically said, we're gonna make a phone that Big Head Tech really is gonna love. And we're gonna bring back all the features he needs and get rid of all the features he doesn't need, just so he can buy that phone for nothing. So let's take a look. So I've actually spent a little bit of time with the Pixel already, but I just want to kind of go over some things so you're not going to get the unboxing experience. But looking at the Pixel 4 versus the Pixel 5, the screen is bigger. So we go from 5.7 to 6, and that's just the screen, not the actual phone itself. The resolution goes from 2280 by 1080 to 2340 by 1080, so just a little bit higher. That's 9.5 to 9 ratio versus, or 19.5 to 9 versus 19 to 9. They're both running OLED, more screen to body ratio, so 86.75. They're both running a 90 Hertz display, HDR support, scratch resistance, both using Corning Gorilla Glass. We go from 5 to 6, which is good. They're both running a light sensor and proximity sensor. Processor-wise, we go from a Snapdragon 855, not to a Snapdragon 865, but to a 765G. That is lower powered. We're also actually taking a dip on the GPU, going from Adreno 640 to Adreno 620. But we did get an upgrade memory, so we have 8 gigs of LPDDR4 versus 6. Storage is just straight up 128 gig. We're running USF 2.1, whatever that means. And it looks like, oh yeah, it does say non-expandable. We're shipping on version 11, but this to me is huge. Like, we'll get to the camera in a second. We go from 2800 to 4080 milliamps. Now I have a Pixel 3. They didn't really increase anything going from 3 to 4 when it comes to batteries, so that's definitely really important. Same exact camera. In fact, I think everything is pretty much the same. Yeah, spec-wise, they are identical. I'm starting to see a little bit of difference on the second camera. So we are running a little bit of different aperture, 2.2 versus 2.4. That's pretty much it. They're both going to record at 4K, 1080p. It looks like the frame rate's going to be the same, 120. It looks like we can do two. Yeah, they can both do 240. So overall, the selfie camera looks to be about the same. Dimensions are almost identical, but the screen to body ratio is better, and the Pixel 5 is a little bit lighter. The other thing is that this also has the fingerprint sensor. So that is absolutely huge when we're talking about just day-to-day usage. And speaking of day-to-day usage, I think you guys are going to be interested to see what my day-to-day usage is like, especially the battery life. So after having used it for a few days, just a couple weird quirks I'm not necessarily in love with. You have to swipe from the bottom and hold to open up your tasks. So if I have, say, that open, contacts open, and we'll say photos open, you have to kind of bring up, press, and hold. Just a little different. The other thing is I'll go into my Weight Watchers app, for example. And for those who don't know, I've lost about 50 pounds since August. I'm doing pretty good there, as is my wife. There's no gestures at the bottom here. You actually have to like swipe from the side to go back. So if your app requires to go back and there's no back button, like in many cases there aren't, it's a little bit frustrating there. So those are some mild changes. Battery life's been fun. I did charge it about 25%. I did hit after about 12 hours of decent usage, a lot of like Slack notifications and screen on time. I was able to get it from 100% down to 20 in about 12 hours. So it's actually really good. Previously, my Pixel I had to charge 3 times a day because the battery degraded so much. But overall, I do like it. I do like the stock Android. There's like no bloatware. My brother has an S20 Ultra, and there's so much junk on there. But overall, you know, I think it's, I don't really have much to gripe about, just a couple UI changes, but honestly, nothing too big. So there you have it. If I don't seem super excited about this phone, again, I don't really do phone reviews, but it's because it delivers exactly what I need. It doesn't do anything over the top. You know, it's not a super premium feeling phone. It does have a really good camera, maybe not all the super high-end cool features, the post-processing and software instead of hardware. It uses mid-range SoC. It only has 128 gigs of storage. So yeah, nothing to write home about. Yeah, sure, we have the fingerprint unlock back, which I'm really happy to see that. So considering I didn't have the Pixel 4 and I came from a Pixel 3, I never really dealt with things like no fingerprint sensor. The battery life, I think, on the Pixel 4s weren't that great because they had the hardware camera post-processing sensor in there. So what I basically went from was a phone that did everything I need, that didn't have a good battery, to a phone that continues to do everything I need with a couple changes I have to remember on a day-to-day basis. It has a good battery. So it does exactly what I need. In the end, I will pay less than $100 for this phone after it's all said and done. Any way you look at it. It is going to take industry-leading photos and most likely video as well. It will last me probably all day for the first 12 to 18 months, at the last 6 months maybe needing a second charge, but hopefully not needing a third charge. And that's what I ran to my Pixel 3. I have to charge it 3 times a day sometimes. But I am just very content with it. I'm very happy. I strongly recommend it, and that's going to be that. I don't really have any links for you to buy because I don't think you can buy this on Amazon. But if you like the video, like it, dislike, leave a comment, and get subscribed. As always, this is Steve from Big Head Tech. I'll see y'all later on down the road.